right, good evening. Welcome to the Kents 5 Weather Digital Center on a Saturday night. We are live on Kents 5 talking all things weather and also the Super Bowl tomorrow. We have a lot of chatting to do, so if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. But also, comment down who you think is going to win tomorrow. It's going to be the big game. If you have anything planned, if you have any plans with the family, feel free to let me know. We're talking all things weather, all things Super Bowl for the next 20 minutes here on Kents 5. Lise, how are you? Good evening. Ready for some not cold weather? Mary, what's going on? It's winter. You know, we usually expect cold weather, but today was not cold, that's for sure. Mary, it was hot today. We had a record heat in the area. We had a high of 89 today, which broke a record. We had record-breaking heat today for San Antonio and for a lot of folks around the area too. We'll get to that as well. Lisa, absolutely. Good evening, Mary. Yeah, absolutely. So today was warm, and we'll talk about the numbers as well. But again, who do you have for the Super Bowl tomorrow? Big game. Cloudy and warm in the morning, some fog and sprinkles as well. And then a cold front will move through after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So today was, again, 89, guys. Just to reiterate, if you have any questions, comment down below. Comment also who you think is going to win the Super Bowl tomorrow. The Kansas City Chiefs or the Philadelphia Eagles for Super Bowl 2025. Yeah, so what we're expecting tomorrow is nothing like what we expected today, because today was, record-breaking. We saw a high near 90 today. Tomorrow, we'll see a high near 70, and that's primarily around lunchtime, and then after that, it gets cooler and cooler and cooler. Kind of a different pattern going into early next week, and we'll talk about that in a second. Guadalupe, good evening. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend so far. Thank you so much. Glad to see you doing well as well. Guadalupe, you say the Chiefs. Okay, all right. Bold guess. I'm just kidding. Everyone is thinking the Chiefs as well. A lot of folks are thinking they're going to three-peat the Kansas City, that is, tomorrow. So we'll see if that happens. Lisa, it was hot. Yeah, it was. Look at this. So that's the pollen count. Let me rewind that back. So this is the pollen count. We'll take a look at the numbers in a second, but here it is right here. There you go. I don't know why my hand is just being weird. Molds are moderate. Mount Cedar is moderate, so that's good. But if you're sneezing, if you feel watery eyes, if you feel congested, if you feel just a little sick, I mean, it could be the flu, but it could also be the allergens in the air. That's also a high likelihood. Good news, nothing's heavy, but Mount Cedar has been heavy over this last week. I mean, late January, early February, that is the statistical peak of Mount Cedar season, and as a matter of fact, we saw counts as high as 9,500 and over 9,000 on Mount Cedar last week. Now it's getting better. It's getting better. Elm is light, ash is light as well. But yeah, I mean, if you're feeling it, it may be the mold or the Mount Cedar outside. Eddie, it was very hot. Yeah, I mean, look at this, guys. So back to what we were talking about, or trying to talk about earlier. We got caught up in the Super Bowl and in the pollen count. It was warm today, and I struggle to say hot because, when I think about hot, I think of hundreds. I think of upper 90s when I say hot, but just because we live in San Antonio. But the fact that we're hitting 89 in the middle of winter, that is hot, guys. That is extremely, extremely warm. We should not be hitting these kind of numbers in the middle of winter. Normal is 66, right? So that's where we should be. That's where our daytime high should be limited to, like the mid-60s in the middle of winter, right? That's just normal, average, normal synonyms. But instead of 66 this afternoon, we hit 89, which, by the way, broke a record. The top column shows what we observed today, so from 68 in the morning low to 89 for the daytime high. But the third column shows you the daily records, the morning low record and the afternoon high record. For example, today's morning low was 68, but the coldest we've ever been in the morning on this day in history was back in 1895. That's a long-standing record of 11 degrees. But back in 2017, not too long ago, 7 years ago, we hit 88, and that is our climatological daily high temperature record. But today, it takes the cake, 89. It beat it by 1. And now today goes down in history as the hottest February 8th in recorded history. So, yay. We broke a record. That sounds cool, but when you're talking about, spring/summer like heat in the middle of February, in the middle of winter, it's just not something you celebrate. It's just weird. It's weird. And it got even hotter. Look at this, guys. It got even hotter south. Now, Hondo is probably seeing, that's bad data. That is very bad data. Hondo probably got up to the upper 80s as well. So ignore Hondo. 94 at Pearsall, 94 at Cotulla today. A lot of 90s. 93 in Seguin. 84 in Fredericksburg, 91 in Del Rio. So many 90s on the map on the second week of February, guys. This is the weather is broken. What is happening? This is just way, way too warm. Top of your screen shows the average or normal daytime high. That's 66, and instead we just soared past that. We went up to near 90 in the city, and then way above 90 down I-35. Pearsall, Cotulla, 94 degrees. Those are numbers you see in May, in June, in July, in August, and we saw it in February. Fun fact, back in 1996, in the middle of February, we hit 100 degrees, and that is the hottest February temperature on record in San Antonio. So it has gotten up to 100 in February. It doesn't always do that, but it has been that hot before. And it just doesn't happen often, right? Normally, on average, this is just very abnormal for this time of year. February 17th is your birthday. How's it looking? We'll take a look at that in a second, Susan, for sure, as we show you the 14-day in a little bit. How low will it go? We'll show you that in a second as well. Don't care as long as my numbers hit. Okay. I'm sorry, Gina. Eddie, yeah, it was very hot. Absolutely, it felt like February. That's a good one. Firebrary. Is that the best way to pronounce it? Yeah. That is accurate. It was as hot as fire in the middle of February. Go Seguin. Go Sarah. Absolutely. Yeah. So great news, guys. We have finally some cooler weather to talk about. Is this going to be an Arctic cold front? No, it is not. It is not. But this will be a decent cold front. I like how that's like the levels. Like there's Arctic and then there's decent, right? And then there's weak. No, there's weak, there's moderate, there's strong, and then there's very strong, which is like an Arctic cold front. But this one, I would just say a moderate to strong one. When you look at the power and strength of cold fronts, the best way to describe it is judging how high temperatures change from one day to the next as the cold front moves in. So for example, today's high, 89, 90 degrees. Tomorrow's high, 70, right around lunchtime, and then we get cooler from there. We stay in the 60s for the most part all day tomorrow. So from near 90 to the mid-60s, that's a 25-degree drop in temperatures. That's pretty strong for a frontal boundary. I know that's not cold because people get confused. They're like, oh, cold front's moving through. It should be cold, like 40s, 30s. No, cold just means cooler behind the boundary itself. For example, 74 right now in San Antonio, and it's 62 at Temple. That's not a huge temperature difference, but that is still cooler, but it's not cold in Temple right now or in Waco. DFW at 50, 41 at Oklahoma City, and 36 at Amarillo at this hour. Temperatures in the area, 78 at Lackland, 63 at Bernie, 71 at Bulverde. Tomorrow morning, keep this in mind, if you are heading out early and hitting the roads, there will be some fog out there, some lower visibility. Not everywhere, but there will be pockets of fog, low clouds, maybe some patchy morning drizzle, and then the cold front will move through around lunchtime. That in a second. First, this is going to be a little confusing, but I do want to mention this. These are tomorrow's forecast highs. Now, depending on where you're watching from, let's say you're watching from the hill country, you'll reach your daytime high temperature probably around like 9 or 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's why they're going to be a lot cooler in the 60s. And then progressively throughout the late morning and afternoon hours, your temperatures will get cooler than 66, 65, 64, 63 in the hill country. Now, San Antonio will reach 70 degrees right around 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Cold front drops in, and then we drop into the mid-60s, then lower 60s through the afternoon and evening. So these daytime highs are all crucial and dependent on the exact timing of the cold front, which is why if you're anywhere south of Highway 90, for example, towards Cotulla, George West, Beeville, Karn City, you'll probably hit the middle to upper 70s and if not the lower 80s tomorrow, because the cold front won't move through our southern counties like Atascosa County, McMullen County, Live Oak County, B County until probably 3, 4, 5 o'clock, and by that time your daytime high temperature is recovered pretty quickly. So again, it just depends on when exactly the cold front moves through your neighborhood, through your city, because we do forecast for San Antonio, but it just depends on where you're watching us from. So let's actually break that down hour by hour. So here it is tomorrow morning, 9, 10 a.m., moves through the hill country. Look at the temperature difference, middle 50s in Fredericksburg and Kerrville, and then middle 70s, George West and Beeville. That's a 20-degree drop in temperatures. Still at about 64, 65 in the city in San Antonio. By lunchtime, that should move through the area. I might have to bring the temperature down. I mean, I'm forecasting a high of 70, but I mean, depending on how fast or how slow this cold front moves, we may only eclipse like 67 or 66. So we'll have to watch that very closely. But here is a snapshot of what it could look like around 2 and 3 o'clock tomorrow. 80s and 70s to our south, and 50s and 60s around the hill country in San Antonio. So tomorrow is going to be very interesting on how fast or how slow this cold front moves in. We're thinking it moves through San Antonio around 1 o'clock in the afternoon and the morning hours for the hill country. But again, if it's slower, then our daytime high will boost up faster in the San Antonio area. And then there it is. It moves through the area Sunday night, which is, Super Bowl time. So if you have any outdoor backyard grilling plans with friends, family, if you're out and about, maybe in downtown San Antonio, at a bar, at a grill, at a restaurant, just keep in mind tomorrow evening as you really get out and start to watch the game, and then even when you leave the restaurant or whatever, it's going to be a little chilly. 50s, a little breezy, humidity will be out, and the temperatures in the air will be a lot cooler and more comfortable, and again, a little breezy. There will be a few sprinkles, maybe 1 or 2 showers around tomorrow night late, but the big story is that front that moves in. So it'll move through Corpus Christi, it'll move into the valley, but from there it stalls, and then by early next week, mainly Monday night and Tuesday, it comes back as a warm front. It happens often, but what that's going to do is just create kind of a roller coaster in temperatures. Each day will be different weather-wise. Some bringing more rain. I think Monday night and Tuesday will be the best opportunity at seeing a few showers. And then, so each day will be different. I mean, 70 to 68 or 69 tomorrow. A little cooler, at least a lot cooler, 58 to 59 Monday. Here comes the warm front, 73 Tuesday, and then a lot cooler Wednesday night and Thursday. So just remember that the next 5 to 6 days gonna kind of go like this, right? Just like a roller coaster. And that contrast between warm, humid air and cooler, drier air will create widely scattered showers, mainly Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So have the umbrella just in case in your car. All right, shout out to Windsor Mission Oaks, staffing on the south side of San Antonio. Jacob, absolutely. I'm here to help you, man. Eddie, absolutely. Yeah, it was warm today. So we hit 89 today in San Antonio, middle 90s south of the city. Tomorrow, 70, so about 20 to 25 degrees cooler tomorrow for Super Bowl Sunday. Even cooler Monday, 59, 73 Tuesday, and then 68 Wednesday, and then cooler on Thursday. Again, guys, a roller coaster of temperatures is heading your way over the next 5 to 6. Valentine's Day, nice morning low near 40, with the high near 66, cloudy skies, and a couple of days of rain chances on the 14-day right now, guys. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your night and rest of your weekend. We'll be live on KENS 5 News at 10 in about 15 minutes. Tune in to CBS, KENS 5, and we'll have another update on weather, the forecast, news, sports, you name it. We'll have another update on everything you need to know around San Antonio. Have a great Saturday night, guys. Be safe and drive carefully out there.